Preparations are going very well. The players are focused. Guys have been working hard. We've been able to get after it pretty good in practice, and we're very excited about this opportunity.
All right, we will now open it up to the room. We've got two microphones. Kristen and Roberta hold the mics. If we can flag them down, we will get questions from the media.
Hey, DJ, it's Tim Reynolds with the AP here in Miami.
Hey, Tim.
When you see Lynch, I don't know if the ACC obviously has some very athletic quarterbacks, but I don't know if there's one that compares as far as all the skill sets that he brings. Can you liken him to anybody, and just how daunting is it to get ready for a guy that can obviously do a lot of different things?
You're right. He's a rare player. He's got 1,700 yards rushing and 3,000 passing, and it's tough to compare him to anyone. But from the quarterbacks that we've played, I'd say he's most like probably B.J. Daniels at South Florida. Very athletic, a guy that can make you miss and is very, active on his feet.
Next question, if we can bring the microphone all the way in the back up the camera stand.
Lane Hurt, Seminoles.com. Coach, can you talk about the decision process of staying back and coaching FSU in this game, and why was that important for you?
Well, the last 3 years have been tremendous for me at Florida State, and I've got such great memories and worked so hard, and my players mean so much to me, and the opportunity that Coach Fisher gave me, I really wanted to finish this thing off on a high note, and I wanted to do everything I could for the program, the coaches, and the players to make sure that we finish this season, with a win, and continue to do what I can throughout the rest of this week to get us there.
Coach, Ira Schofel with the Tallahassee Democrat. Could you just talk about preparing a game plan? I guess the last two, Georgia Tech, you had a real active role in preparing the game plan too. And was that different than during the course of the season? Was it a collaborative effort during the season, or could you just tell us the differences or similarities?
Well, Coach Stoops has been the defensive coordinator, obviously, for the last 3 seasons, and has been the head guy in preparing the game plans for us the majority of the time. With Georgia Tech, I had a little better feel for those type of offenses. So I was in the lead that week in preparing the game plan and calling the defense, but it was an active role by all the coaches. There wasn't just one guy that was a part of any of our game plans. And, it's the same this week. It's an active role with all the coaches involved for this game plan, these preparations as well.
Coach Dieter Kurtenbach with the Sun Sentinel. I was wondering how much integration you've had with the young players in practices this week, and how that will be affected, or how much you're using the young players early on in practice, kind of getting them into the system, almost as scout team sort of stuff, and how the coaching staff changes affect that decision.
I don't understand your question.
Northern Illinois was alluding to that, and early on in practice they'd use a lot of the young players, kind of bring them along a little bit and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it, almost get them ready for next year. They started to use it as a early spring practice. You guys do anything like that at Florida State?
Definitely we did. We had some practices early that were not designed for game plan practices. They were just skill development practices, and we made sure that our young players got a lot of reps in those early practices.
And with the coaching changes, how has that affected how you approach that?
It hasn't affected me any differently. I'm still working for Florida State, and that's been my approach, and I'm doing everything I can as a coach and as a coordinator to help this team be as successful as they can.
To your right down here in the front row.
Hey, Coach. Coley Harvey from the Orlando Sentinel. Just wanted to ask about what these last 3 weeks have been like. I mean, obviously going up to Kentucky, being back and forth a lot, trying to get the game plan, obviously, for this bowl set up. Just walk us through what these last couple of weeks have been.
Well, I think I broke a record on airline miles, and no, it's been very busy. You know what I mean? It's been very busy. I've had a lot of responsibilities on both ends, and there hasn't been much downtime at all. And I'm still got a task at hand, so I'm still in that mode, that work mode. And it's been exciting, but it's also been challenging to manage 2 jobs. But I'm fully committed and fully focused on winning this game and doing whatever I can.
Obviously, you know what your future is, obviously, but as far as you guys have come, these last couple of years. How important is it to you personally, even though you know what your next chapter is going to look like, to end this on a winning note? I mean, not what it would mean to the program, what it would mean to Jimbo or the kids, but what it means to you personally to make sure you go out from this chapter a winner.
Well, Florida State has been a great experience for me, and it's one that I'm going to cherish forever. And I want to finish this thing off right, and that's why I'm working so hard to do that. I always looked at Florida State as a place where they weren't lucky to have me, but I was lucky to have Florida State. And that's the way I approached work every day. Coach Fisher took a chance on me. I was a young D-line coach at Rice that did a good job in an interview. So I tried to repay him every single day with my work. My players mean a tremendous amount to me. So I want to make sure that I finish this thing off for them. They bought in early to what we were doing, and they've been very successful, and they've always respected me and done exactly what I've told them to do. So I want them to know that I was going to be here till the end for them as well.
Go to your left in the second row.
Matt Hopkinson, Northern Star. Obviously, with all the attention paid to Lynch, what do you think about the rest of the NIU's offense components, from the line to the receivers and the backs?
Well, obviously they're a very good offense. They've got great numbers. They've won, all but one game. And there's, other weapons besides Jordan Lynch that we're going to have to be prepared for. They've got good speed, and their offensive line is very effective. They work well together. So, we're conscious of more than just one player for them.
A microphone here in the front row on the right.
Coach Ira Schofel with the Tallahassee Democrat again. Bjorn Warner, Coach Fisher's talked a lot about how his instincts and just feel for the game is different than a lot of football players. Could you talk about that? And is it do you still see those things that surprise you even this late in his career?
Well, Bjorn is a player that you have certain players that you can give them a certain amount of information, but they can only apply so much. So you have to be careful on who and what you give to certain players. But Bjorn's one of those players that he can take in anything you give him, you know what I mean? And he can apply it in the game. So he never ceases to amaze me on how much he can improve, and he's done that his whole career. Brandon Jenkins was the same way, and Tank Carradine's played great for me as well as, his other defensive ends. But, Bjorn is one of those guys that's a student of the game and continues to improve.